Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing fantastic. And that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little notification. I think it's a bell. I'm pretty sure it looks like a bell. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. We seem to be in a really weird loop, not only in life. I'm not sure if you've been realizing that. The last couple of years, not only have they been weird, but it feels like we're just constantly going in a weird circle kind of thing. This was news before, in 2 months ago, and then before that it was news in summertime, and then it was also news around March. So it was the loop has kind of continued on top of speculation of things happening and where things might potentially go in the future. A company by the name of Canary Capital, a crypto-focused investment firm, has filed an S-1 registration statement with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, seeking approval for a spot-based XRP exchange-traded fund. We had news, it was even more recent actually. If you saw the video, this was maybe 2 days ago. The people from Grayscale have filed to swap one of their funds into an ETF as well. I think it's called a multi-crypto fund. I forgot exactly what the name for it is, but it also basically involves Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then they're also trying to get Avalanche, Solana, and XRP that are already in the fund also swapped into an XRP-esque ETF as well. So that's why I said we're kind of in this weird loop of everyone keeps saying that they're going to do stuff or trying to do stuff. But at least now, at the time of me making this video, there's been no resolution for any of them. A lot of companies are trying to do a lot of altcoin ETFs with the idea that Ethereum got some, and therefore other coins can do the exact same. The difference for Ripple is this has been a rumor since 2017, 2018. I know that sounds like a weird time frame. Back then, people thought that XRP/Ripple was going to get everything all at once. Not even a joke. They were going to get options. They were going to get derivatives. They were going to get ETFs and futures all on the exact same date. Very, archaic times within the cryptocurrency space. And now that the lawsuit is over-ish, as the SEC has allegedly, the news that we got has refiled to try and get the company Ripple in trouble and not the token XRP. It looks like that the idea of them going public is still a thing. The stablecoin launch, there's always new Ripple stablecoin news that I don't think you want to hear about that daily. It's they're minting more behind the scenes. People are saying that several million are being minted all the time, but until it releases, and normal people have access to it, because it's going to first be sold to institutions and also to crypto exchanges. And this is how normal people will have access to the actual thing. And then on top of that is the idea of XRP ETFs, therefore popular news. The ETF would expose investors to XRP, the seventh cryptocurrency by market cap, without the need to buy or hold it directly. According to the filing, the net asset value NAV of the proposed ETF would be calculated using the CME CF Ripple dollar reference rate. Canary Capital will sponsor and manage the ETF, while CSC Delaware Trust Company will be the trustee. However, the company has not yet revealed which institution will take on the role of custodian or administrator for the fund. Random guess, they're probably going to choose Coinbase. if you didn't see or weren't here for the ETF fiasco that happened in January, it's only been January. So much has happened this year, and yet the year has flown by and also taken forever. I can't be the only one who's felt this way. This is the fastest, slowest year I've ever had in my entire life. I keep looking at the date and I see, oh my gosh, like 3 weeks has flown by. But I also remember like every second of every day. I feel like we're waiting for something that's always like just a little bit ahead in the future that we never actually get to. I don't know if that made sense to anyone. It is an extremely odd feeling. When talking about January of this year, there were a lot of different companies who filed for Bitcoin ETFs. And then for some reason, wink, out of nowhere, 90% of them announced that they were going to be using Coinbase exclusively as their custodian. Every other company who didn't choose Coinbase, I think one or two of them got rejected and everyone else swapped over to Coinbase as well. So I assume they're in talks with Coinbase to do this. Why Coinbase keeps getting the golden treatment, if you will, that's up for your tinfoil hat to decide. That's the Canary Capital is trying to launch an XRP ETF. I realistically give it sometime mid next year, if not the end of next year. I think the sheer fury and intensity of a bull run would kind of set all capital markets like into this rush to try and get as many things filed as possible. So who knows if it'll be Canary, but some company's going to get it. I have a feeling that the first ETF with XRP in it is probably going to be a multi one. So something that has Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and like one other coin. And basically that'll really open up the floodgates. But this is bound to happen. It shouldn't take forever because once again, Grayscale will simply sue them. And that's how they'll get it through. And then also it was noted that Brad Garlinghouse tweeted about it. And this was the tweet. He basically, this is from that, was it Brooklyn 43 or something like that, whatever this show is. And he wrote, it's happening again, that someone else also filed after Bitwise. Fantastic. That's the XRP news. And yeah, let's move on. Also sure, why not? I guess, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Metaplanet, the Tokyo-listed firm known for buying Bitcoin. They wrote an aggressive foray. No, you're trying to write like you went to Harvard. They're not doing anything as aggressive as any other company who's already done this, but I digress. Metaplanet announced on Friday that they had acquired an additional 108 Bitcoin. I do not understand why every website keeps doing this. For those of you not looking at the screen, for some reason, whenever anyone talks about Metaplanet and their acquisition of Bitcoin, they do it to the third decimal place. So if you're looking or not looking, it says 108.999. No one in the world writes numbers like that. If you talk about how much Bitcoin or anything you acquired, you would say 108.99. Just a decimal, if you will, shy of 109 Bitcoin. But for some reason, everyone from Metaplanet keeps writing out this elongated number, which doesn't make any sense because a lot of I keep seeing it, other news outlets, heavy air quotes, keep writing things like they bought 108,999, and I'm like, but they didn't. Its latest purchase brings the company's total Bitcoin. See, again, it says 748 Bitcoin, but they have a decimal place. So they wrote 748.502, looking like they have 748,502 Bitcoin. Why is why is this happening over and over? Every single website keeps doing this. Every time the Metaplanet is in the news, it's incredibly popular. People try, and it's so weird. Like, stop. People keep calling them, oh gosh, what is it? The Asian micro strategy. You know that other companies can do things and they don't have to be like the Asian version of an American company. Like, they can simply be the company on their own. A lot of other companies are constantly always buying Bitcoin. This was news for years and years and years, but the issue is that no one pays attention to it. The only thing that even the market pays attention to is MicroStrategy news. So MicroStrategy will purchase 38,000 Bitcoin, and then people take notice. But when you have 150 other companies buying 100 Bitcoin all the time, I mean, really, no one bats an eye at all. They reinforced their long-term prospects on Bitcoin. Yet Metaplanet's Bitcoin acquisition strategy goes beyond simple spot purchases. No, it's not that deep. A lot of people were basically figuring out that they might have been selling other securities, if you will, in order to make money at the exact same time that they were also purchasing. And people said that they were hedging just in case that Bitcoin's price went down. That's what every major company does. Like, not to downplay it, but it's so like people are pretending like this is some kind of like sophisticated trade that's going on. Remember all the news that first of all, that we've been getting for years, over and over. Every time that the market went down, what would happen? Whales would buy. So we would get news some days. There were 18 wallets, 18 whale wallets who individually each bought like $12 to $15 million worth of Bitcoin on any given day. And it's like, that also doesn't really make it into the news, I guess, because there's not like a company tied to it. For some reason, people are so disillusioned and need this idea of being able to name a rich person who's done something for it to have some kind of significance for them. We can hear dozens of times that whales bought $300 million worth of Bitcoin over the course of a 7-day period, and no one cares. If you have the assumption that Elon Musk is going to allow Bitcoin purchases or Bitcoin whatever for Teslas, people go crazy because you can link it to Elon Musk. It's similar to that guy from Dell, I think it's Dell Computers, if I'm not mistaken. People in the summer thought that this man was going to randomly purchase like $7 billion worth of Bitcoin. And the price rose under the assumption that this man, because they can put a face to it, was going to actually rise the price. And I was like, if this man is buying, he's not going to announce it. You know that rich people buy assets all the time, and they don't go on TV and stand on a podium and tell you that they've purchased an asset. They do it in secret so that they can buy more of it while the prices are, this goes across the entire board. There's a reason why all the real estate is being scooped up and you don't see who it's being scooped up from. It's very weird. People in crypto are so focused on like a face. They need someone to tell them like, look, that company in particular did it. That one person, it's the same exact thing with the ETFs. These purchases of huge amounts of Bitcoin have been happening for years, and this only makes sense if you follow this channel for a number of years. This isn't like brand new news. Like we've gone over it dozens of times. I was like, we don't technically really need the ETFs. Of course, they give us more mainstream appeal and more institutions can get in through it. But this is why Grayscale was such a big deal, because they already had ETFs without the letters ETF. And we saw on chain that the Bitcoin buying was just as vigorous as it has always been. So then you shift everything into the idea of ETFs and they hold over 1 million Bitcoin and everyone goes, how is that possible? When we went over news years ago that 80% of all the Bitcoin was already being held by whales. But that doesn't do it for people because they can't put a face to the whale. So therefore, maybe it's more abstract to people. It's kind of like whenever Robinhood does something and I'm like, Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance had that years ago. Like, why are you? I really don't understand it. I don't know how Metaplanet became like a popular company. There are dozens of other companies buying Bitcoin all the time. It's just that you're not hearing about it. They're trying to do this to get some kind of fanfare, probably, because MicroStrategy stock has risen exponentially from them actually being in Bitcoin. So I assume Metaplanet is basically trying to do the exact same thing, trying to gain notoriety by buying Bitcoin and telling everyone, look how smart we are. Look at what we're doing with our stock. Look at it. And it's like, okay, once again, not downplaying it. Cool. There's another company in the space, but I wish everyone got excited about buying assets themselves as opposed to companies buying assets themselves. There was a news report. This must have been over a decade. It was a news story about this mother somewhere. I want to say Detroit. I don't know why Detroit popped into my head. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. Somewhere in America. And the news story was that I think her son, who was 11, 12 at the time, was like getting into investing. Like this was the actual news story. And part of the news story was that she taught him from a young age to buy assets. So like she was saying that all of his other friends were like buying sneakers and trying to like invest in sneakers, but she taught him to like invest in the companies that make the sneakers. So he was talking for the news story and he was like, yeah, I just bought some more Nike stock because they pay a dividend. And he was like, I'd rather own some of the company than actually like, the thing that they're producing. And the woman who was interviewing him was like, oh my gosh, you sound so intelligent. And I was like, I wish more people had this kind of like, he was so young, but he still had this, like, you could see like he's going to be wealthy when he gets older. You could clearly tell his mother had taught him well. But it was this like excitement that he had and the mother had and like the newscaster had seeing him invest. And I find it so weird that, so I don't know if you remember, this was during 2020 and 2021, and we were told to stay in our abodes, if you will. I remember there was something that happened online where some celebrity, it was on, I want to say Twitter. She purchased a bag, like a handbag, and I think it was like 15,000, and people were like so like, oh my gosh, that's great. That's amazing. Like, you go, girl, like that kind of thing. And I was like, what? I was like, you're clapping for her buying a bag, but not the idea of like you buying an asset. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the world is so weird. People, you get so happy when rich people do stuff that you're not doing for yourself. Like what they're doing isn't anything extraordinary per se. Like, you can have the exact same thing. You can teach your kids how to invest, how to save money. Like, start buying, like, instead of like Christmas presents, when they're like, just you buy them like assets and explain to them what the assets are. Have other family members also get, like, you can also create generational wealth. You don't have to wait for crypto. You don't have to like sit there with like bated breath till you're blue in the face waiting for some guy who runs Dell to buy Bitcoin. You can do it yourself. You don't have to hear or like look at these YouTubers like buying property. If you saved and invested for 5 years, you'd be able to buy a studio apartment yourself and then rent that out and then roll that into bigger property. Everyone gets so obsessed with what Elon Musk is doing and what this rich person is doing and what this rich person might do. And it's like, you're wasting time. Like, you're wasting your life idolizing these people. You have the capacity to do like amazing, like incredibly amazing things with yourself, with your life. The things you can learn, the places you can see, where you can go. How many assets you can accumulate. Like, I knew someone who was telling me that he really wanted to get into investing. So I always ask people what their risk tolerance level is. I don't know if anyone else does this. You should do it. because I don't try and spring crypto onto people. You know, it is a lot. If you've been in this market, you know it is a lot. It's not the easiest market to be in. So I was asking him what his risk level was on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like, give me that Dogecoin. I need some Shiba Inu. He said it was around like a 3 or 4. So I was like, okay, I can find some ETFs for you and I can find some stocks. And he was like, no. And I was like, you don't want stocks? He was like, I'm saving for them. And I was like, you're saving what? He's like, I'm saving up money to be able to buy stocks. And I was like, if you don't mind me asking, you know, what are you trying to save? He's like, I'm trying to save like 5 to 10,000. And I was like, do you have more than 1,000 right now? He's like, yeah, luckily. And I was like, put that into the market. No, because I don't have enough. And I was like, enough what? He thought he needed to buy like a huge amount because it's this stupid misconception from these other finance YouTubers that you can't do anything on a budget or you can't start slow. Everything has to be big. How to save your first 100K. Use that 100K to get 9 mortgages and then throw 15,000 into the stock market. The dividends that you get, and it's this like super grandiose idea that you can't do anything small. That was a problem years ago for a huge problem years ago for the cryptocurrency market when Bitcoin was like $1,500 and people didn't understand that they could buy fragments of Bitcoin. And then people didn't want to buy fragments of Bitcoin because it wasn't enough for them. Nobody wanted 0.09 Bitcoin or to buy that per month because it wasn't an entire Bitcoin. So people waited. And then they waited so long that Bitcoin got to 20,000 and then you can't buy anything. All the time I tell you, like, after you have paid all your bills and the money that you can afford to lose, use that to invest. If you really want Bitcoin, if you really want Ethereum, if you really want XRP, you can buy fragments of them. Or in the case of XRP, you know, it's okay if you're only buying 10, 20, 30 XRP a week or per month. Don't feel the need or left behind because you're not buying everything right now. I don't talk about this too much, but I used to have this thing on the other channel, Money Rules, where I would go over like what I bought or what I'm buying this week as far as like NFTs on the VV platform. A long time ago, I think I had like 150, maybe 200 NFTs on there. But like slow but steady, like every single month, I personally take a couple hundred and I put it onto the app and I buy all these things. I think I have over 2,000 things. I think almost or at 2,000 things on the app. I didn't buy all 2,000 at the exact same time. It took me a while. It literally took me 2 to 3 years to be able to do it. And now I have a huge, gigantic NFT portfolio on the platform. It's the same thing with crypto. I'm not throwing 10,000 into the market every single month. I'm putting a couple hundred. Like I do bi-weekly orders, so every 2 weeks, and I've just been buying nonstop since I got into the market. Any extra money that I have, I use it to buy other assets, or I have an extra 150, so I buy some other altcoin that I think will do well every month. It's just about starting somewhere. You have to start. You have to put money away. You have to like begin. This misconception is so overblown for so many people that you need to have an enormous amount of money to be able to invest. Remember the videos that I was making years ago also on both channels about collecting art? I told people for so long, I was like, you don't need millions to invest in art. You have to find an established artist. This is me personally. Personally, from my vantage point, I find established blue chip artists. You can Google blue chip artists and you buy like prints from them. There are a lot of like living artists who sell prints like once or twice a month. Like they create a piece and then they'll make like a print of it. It's like similar to a poster, but like on thicker paper. They'll sign it and number it because they're limited edition. Depending on which artist you choose, they'll sell them anywhere from $45 to $125 to $500. I have a huge art collection because I've been collecting since 2016. In 2016, I didn't have what I, am blessed to have right now. I started out really slow, but now I have a huge portfolio of art. And a lot of these pieces, they went from $45 to $600. They went from $55 to $350. Some of the stuff that I was lucky enough to buy for $500, some of them are worth like low four figures now. You just have to start somewhere, because you look back and you go, I wish I had, gotten into art, because I've been doing it since 2016. If you start now, by the time you get to 2032, you'll also have been collecting for 8 years. You just got to go. You got to move. I think that was the title of one of my other videos. I don't remember. Maybe just something in my head. I was like, you got to do something. Move. Produce. Like, buy some kind of assets. Think of every single month in the last 10 years. If you had put $100 every single month into crypto, how much think about it. How many coins fell down in price multiple times? There was a point where I was just chatting with a friend about this. I think Cardano was it 25 cents? And then at some point it fell to 1 cent. It fell to we were chatting about it because we were talking about prices from where they were and where we think they could go. And my friend was like, I put like $100 into it. He's like, why didn't I put 3, 4, 5,000 into it? Because we have this kind of thing. And it's like, if you had been buying consistently, whether prices are up or prices are down, into an asset class that you believed in, you'd be doing really well right now. When the market picks that back up and does a 15 to 20x, how much money would you have, or are you going to have, for those of you who've actually been in this market the entire time? If you had gotten into art, if you had gotten into real estate 10, 15 years ago, just start right now. Stop making excuses. Like, really, stop making excuses. Mathematically, one of you listening to this right now wants to get into stocks, wants to get into ETFs, wants to get into real estate, wants to get into, put money into crypto, but you're saving money, waiting for this drop in the market that might never happen. What are you waiting for? It's so weird to think about. Like, I understand, or I try to understand the mindset or the approach that someone might have for something like that. But yeah, no, you're setting yourself back every single day. Every single day. It's weird to think about. Didn't mean to rant and rave. I think I was annoyed because people keep putting a crown on Metaplanet's head, and it's like, they're not doing anything that you can't do yourself. You get thrown off by numbers of 6.5 million. Like, you have to start somewhere. You really do have to start somewhere. Last point, there was this video I saw about a day or two ago online of this like real estate tycoon. And it was one of those, of course, it was one of those videos. His parents came to the US from another country. He grew up, he didn't have anything. And by the time he was 19, he bought like a little shack somewhere and was renting it out and kind of kept on going. But like, I know it's weird because this is also, for those of you who don't know, this is also like a form of like propaganda as far as like what the American dream is. You don't have to like be a real estate mogul. You don't have to own like 8,000 properties like this guy. It's okay. I mean, and I say this in the most first world way possible. It's okay if at the end of the road, you only own 5 properties that you pass on to your kids. It's okay if you only own 14 studio apartments. This idea, there's another, I won't mention his name. There's another financial YouTuber. He posted about a year ago that he bought this new home, but it was like I'm not joking. It was like a 9-bedroom, 6-bathroom. It was like this mega mansion, I think somewhere in Texas. I don't remember where it was, but like everyone in the comments was like, oh man, I'll never get that. I'm never going to, it's like, you don't have to. Like, you can still own property. You can still be on the ladder. You can still be a homeowner. You can still like be a landlord. You can be all these things. Like, don't be disillusioned by the idea of what someone else has, because what you have now, other people would also love to have. You don't get how lucky you actually are. I mean, even from the vantage point of, you can have 1/10 of a Bitcoin. You can have 1 Ether. You can have 1,000 XRP. You know how many other people don't have jack diddly squat? Nothing. Zilch. They have nothing in their portfolio. Nothing. How many people you know are broke? Not like, oh, I don't have anything, but I mean like $25,000, $35,000 broke. Can't afford their rent. Broke. Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this video. Just start, do something, like build your money, build your wealth, focus. Okay, hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.